Hey everybody, welcome back to our channel. I'm April Knight, and today we have another great video for you. I'm going to teach you how to make brush letters with none other than Crayola markers. I was blown away the first time I saw this. I thought this is not possible to do with just Crayola markers, but it is. So I'm so excited to show you. So all you're going to need is Crayola markers and some white computer paper. I'm also going to give you a little demo comparing Crayola brush letters with a typical Tombow brush marker. You're gonna be blown away. Can't wait. Let's get started. Okay guys, here we go. What you need is a Crayola marker of your choice and just the pencil in case you want to. So the first thing you want to start with is, if you are not a comfortable cursive person, it's totally fine. Perhaps you went to school in the early 2000s and you didn't learn cursive. It's not your fault. I have downloadable worksheets on this link to this video where you can download some lettering pages to practice your cursive letters. Now, as you can see, I am sketching this in pencil. You probably can't see it much, but if you're not a comfortable cursive person, first things first is to start with pencil with letters that you think you like. So just keep that in mind. You don't have to start in pencil. I don't usually start in pencil, but that's because I was born in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. I was raised in the 90s, and I learned cursive. And so I've been doing cursive for a decade. Okay, let's get started. So here's the tip to these markers. You're going to use a thin upstroke with light pressure. And then when you're on your downstroke, you are going to press down onto the side of the marker, and you can see the difference in the thickness of your line. That is the game. That is like the money piece of this whole shebang when it comes to brush lettering in general with a marker, but also especially brush lettering here with these markers. So with the Crayola markers. So what you're going to do is, if you have already given yourself a sketch with a pencil, you're going to just follow those lines slowly. Don't feel like you have to go fast. I used to think for years you had to go fast when you were doing brush lettering, and that is a lie. Okay, so you can see that I am pressing down hard on the downstroke of the letter. So follow slowly when you have an upstroke, and then when you get to the downstroke, you're going to start pressing down on the side of your marker to get that thick line with the Crayola marker. Follow along each letter to letter, and you are going to use light pressure until your stroke turns into a downstroke, and then you're going to press down hard to get that thick line on the downstroke of your letters. Same thing with this word right here. When you give yourself those guidelines in pencil, it helps kind of take the pressure off. Quite literally, it kind of takes the pressure off, so that if you're worried your letters are going to look wonky, you can prep yourself in advance by giving yourself pencil lines. Then you're going to want to erase your pencil lines if you do, in fact, use pencil lines. But this is just, I was just so amazed the first time I saw this. Okay, so let's do it again, this time without pencil lines. I'm going thin upstroke to the thick downstroke. The other thing that is like so important to say that I didn't really realize is that you can treat each letter as an individual. And what I mean by that is, when you learned cursive, if you were in fact born in the 80s, years ago, you're kind of taught go letter to letter and flow from one to another without picking up your pen. And the thing about brush lettering is it's actually sort of helpful to treat each letter as an individual, and you can do so. Don't be afraid to pick up your pen and kind of treat each letter individually. Give yourself time to think about what you want to say, and give yourself that individual time from letter to letter. Let's see, I'm pressing down my little beep there. That is the name of the game. Thin upstroke with light pressure, thick downstroke with heavy pressure, and that is the name of the game with the Crayola markers. Let me show you for just a second the comparison from a Tombow brush pen. These are awesome. You can get these in permanent and not permanent. And this is the brush pen I have used for years when I teach my hand lettering class. But I'll kind of show you the comparison. So I would say the difference between this brush tip and the Crayola, the main difference is that this is very kind of floppy. So well, it's not really floppy, but it definitely has more give in the I don't know if it's called a nib, but in the tip of the brush pen, you can hear that kind of squeak. You can get a bit of a thinner line when you're using this with that really light pressure, which is nice. It's a little bit harder to get such a thin, smooth line with their Crayolas, but you can do the same sort of thing. Now, if you consider here, this really isn't that thick. That's because I really wasn't pressing down that full side of the brush tip. So keep that in mind if you find yourself frustrated because you're not getting a thick enough line. Really kind of turn your hand and get to the side of that brush tip. That is going to give you, same thing with the brush pen. If you are giving this upstroke and then you're pressing down, but you're not getting a thick enough line, you probably have your hand too vertical. You need to kind of turn it to a greater angle. But let's just see the difference in maybe one little word. Okay, so let's do the word sunshine. Let's see if I can fit it. Okay, I guess I need a thick line. Thick downstroke. Okay, sun. It does get like a nice little squeak. Oh. Now, if you don't pick your pencil up, if you don't pick your pen up with light enough pressure, you are going to have a bit of a more, like this is a little bit thicker than I like, but you can really get that thin line if you take the time. So you're going to get a little bit of a thin flowy line with this brush pen, and then with the Crayola, let's see if we can mimic something pretty similar here. Light pressure, thick, heavy pressure coming back down. And then that same sort of hack of don't forget you can pick up your pen at each mark. You can see like these are a bit of more less flowy letters, but that is a pretty good comparison, considering this is a Crayola and this is about a $3 marker, and here you can get a whole pack for about $3 or $4. So anyway, that's a hack. Crayola markers, you can do it. Give it a try. Your main things to remember are light pressure on that thin upstroke and heavy pressure on that downstroke. If you are not getting a thick enough line on your downstroke, remember you're going to want to really use the whole side of your marker and press down pretty hard. Okay guys, I hope that blessed you and now you feel a little more equipped to continue in your brush lettering journey. Remember, practice makes progress, and it's okay to not be great at it the first time you try. We will see you soon. Make sure to like and subscribe for more videos like this one.